Ciao everyone and welcome to a new episode of Andrea's interviews. Today, to share her views and reflections about spirituality, there's Magda. Happy listening.
So, welcome to a new episode of Andrea's interview. Today with us there is Magda. We will be talking about spirituality. Welcome, Magda.
Hello,
So,
Andrea. Thank you for having me.
a pleasure. Age and profession.
I'm 42 years old and I am director of the company, my own company. Yeah.
What does spirituality mean to you?
Spirituality. Well, during my spiritual journey, which started nearly 10 years ago, there were different episodes and different name for it and meanings. So at the moment, at this present times, that as long as you are breathing, you're spiritual. And I'm a little bit far away from the mainstream spirituality because it can get you into this sort of a loop of ego trap as well. But yeah, it's mostly being spiritual means breathing. It's more like lived experience, being close to the source, to God, to higher self, to your own soul. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you believe in God or in something that is bigger than yourself?
Yes, very deeply. But not God as this old man sitting at his throne in the sky and, punishing you when you do something bad and, rewarding you when you do something good. For me, God is basically everywhere, and it's all in all of us, and it's in absolutely everything. It's something that it's very deeply felt. You can Some people call it, as I mentioned before, higher self, universe, soul, higher power. For me, it's more like a feeling, this love. You can imagine it as when you do something which you very, very love. It's this sort of feeling when you're in the flow, there are synchronicities, and you're just the best version of yourself because you feel that connection. It's basically that place in us that it's untouched by trauma. It's part of you that doesn't need fixing. It's part of you that is just basically pure love. There is no judgment, nothing. It's also maybe a voice that comes that quietly tell you come home, because that's how I felt God in my own experience. And it's also, yeah, I think it's also that sort of inner knowing. I don't know, it's just combine of all of that. Yeah.
Yeah. What is a human being made of? If I say that body, mind, soul, and spirit, what is it for you?
Mhm. I've just found out not long time ago that our heart has its own consciousness, which I never knew before. So yeah, it's definitely body, which is the flesh. Then there is a mind, there is a spirit, which is soul, and then there is heart. But I think it's more than just biology. I think it's the consciousness, so God experiencing life through itself, through our body, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
If I say that we are all connected, that there is a connection between
Mhm.
us or with something greater than ourselves, do you feel connected at present? And do you believe in this connection?
Uh, Yes, I feel that we are all connected, and I am at times connected to higher self, to God. How do I feel connected? Most of the time is, let me just make sure that nobody interrupts us. Sorry about that.
It's okay.
Most of the time is just going in the nature and, just being present, just looking at the leaves falling off the trees, looking at the flower growing, just being in awe of everything what surrounds us. Sometimes for me, this connection, I feel very strongly with dogs. The dogs are beings of being in the present moment. They are naturally in the present moment all of the time. So it's just that, because you can just feel that unconditional love. And yes, I believe that we are all connected. I believe that we mirror to each other different parts of ourselves. Very often it's the parts that we still need to work on, or we can see our wounds in other people as well. So yes, I believe that we are all connected. Yeah.
Beautiful. What is a
And
spirit? Go on.
maybe also the connection that I feel, it's when I'm in the stillness. So when I shut down all of the noise from the outside, and it's just presence and stillness, there are no thoughts. I feel that connection. Yeah.
What is it, a spiritual lesson that you learned from a difficult time, and how has it changed you?
Oh, that's a good one. The spiritual lesson. Oh, I've gone through many spiritual lessons. But I think the biggest of my spiritual lessons came from my trauma. And that lesson was that what breaks you, it also breaks you open. So through the wound is where the light comes in. And for years I was believing that I was unworthy, I was not enough. But through my awakening, all of the inner work and all shadow work and inner child healing, I am becoming maybe not somebody else, but I'm dropping off all of the illusions. And this is where another very, very big spiritual lesson that is coming from me. It's that every time you leave part of yourself, the old version of you, there is immense grief, because you're living the illusion of what you were or what you thought you have to be, or you're living illusion behind you, what you were thinking that other people were. And that's the grief. Basically, it's just part of spiritual growth. You just have to go through the grief. You have to peel off the illusion, and you just have to embody the new version of yourself. So it's like a circle. And like I thought spiritual growth means like going to the end point, and at the end there will be enlightenment and everything will be great, and only light. Not feeling down, not feeling sad, but it's not like that. So I think definitely it's the death of your false self. And because through life we embody so many different beliefs, and which we have to then peel off. It's the grief that comes with it. It's definitely that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do we grow spiritually? What does nourishes our soul?
Uh, So I believe that we grow spiritually when we stop running from ourselves, when we face our wounds, when we stop blaming, when we stop judging, and most of it all, we take responsibility for our actions, for our thoughts, when we listen to our body, when we start releasing inherited trauma and beliefs that doesn't serve us, and when we are kind to ourselves. And as I mentioned before, spiritual growth, it's the continuous circle of you awakening, one part of you is awakening, then your consciousness is coming in, then you're grieving that part which is dissolving, then there is a phase of integrating, and then you basically become more of who you truly are. So that's for me spiritual growth. And what nourishes me, or I don't know if anybody else, but I can say for myself. So it's definitely rest and silence, connection to people that I love. I love writing, so writing, breath work, energy work, and most of it just being true with myself and living that truth. Like, just don't, yeah, you don't sabotage yourself in what you already know.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think, yeah, I think this is most detrimental when you do something against yourself or against your heart.
What brings you a deep sense of peace or fulfillment?
A peace brings me what I've mentioned before, when I don't betray myself, when I'm honest with myself and I follow my heart and my soul. Um, and what brings me the fulfillment? The fulfillment, I believe, it's that feeling which I've mentioned at the beginning, when it's this pure joy when you do something which you really, really love. And for me, it's helping others. I don't know. I just love being of service. But in a different way now. It's not like I was before, when I was just like pouring from myself when I was empty. So first I make sure I'm full, and then I can pour to somebody else. Um, it's seeing, that's a fulfillment for me. Seeing my family shifting energetically, because then I know there is family dynamics changing, and I know the energy is changing. So I know it's not only my growth, but that growth also affects all of the people that's close to me. Um, Fulfillment brings for me holding space for people in pain. And again, I had to learn that, because before I'm very empathetic. So I was absorbing a lot of pain. And at the moment, it's more like just holding space, but not absorbing. So it's more like it's through me, not into me. Watching my brother transform, he just went to rehab 2 years ago, and he has been sober ever since. No drugs, no alcohol, and the
Mhm.
same for me. So looking at him and seeing myself as well, that's a fulfillment, because I know that we're going into something better in life. Especially after the journey that we've been, which was very, very difficult and hard. Writing my book, I don't know, at some point, hopefully it will be finished. But yeah, that gives me sense of fulfillment, and just spending time with my partner and my dogs. My dogs play a huge part in my life. Yeah.
I share that with you completely. Like my dogs are my little angels, my little therapists.
Exactly. That's the thing. As soon as I just feel a little bit off, the minute I just stroke them or I hold them, it's just it shifts. Yeah,
Yeah.
it shifts.
What is happiness for you?
Well, it has changed as well. Previously, I thought happiness is, not having problems, not having bad days, all good vibes only, and all of that. No, at the moment, happiness for me is clarity. So, clarity in what I know, what I feel, what I do, where I'm going, sense of direction. That's happiness. And again, I'm going to go back to what I've just mentioned at the beginning, that sense of connection, fulfillment. that pure joy and love that comes onto you when you do something that you really love. And I think this is the highest possible form to attain in life, actually, to be in that state. So yeah, that's happiness for me. Yeah. So like, for example, being in my own body, waking up without anxiety, loving myself, to choose peace over chaos, because I lived in chaos for most of my life. I was in trauma. I went through post-traumatic stress disorder. And at the moment, yeah, waking up happy and waking up without that anxiety, that's happiness for me. Um, and as I've mentioned before, connection, purpose, and inner stillness. Yeah.
Yeah. If you could speak to Magda when she was 30 years old, what advice would you tell her? What advice would you give her?
When I was 30 years old, When I was 30 years old, I was rushing. I was rushing into getting married, into having kids, into having family, because this is what society and my family really was putting pressure on me. And because this was not happening in my life, because I wasn't ready, I felt I'm different. There is something wrong with me because I do not follow what everybody outside tells me what's the normal. So I would say to her, no, it's nothing wrong with you. You're not broken. You're not too much. You're not enough. You're not behind. You're basically becoming. And what feels destruction, it's actually your awakening.
That's fantastic. Have you got any guilty feelings or and regrets? And if so, how
Mhm.
do you deal with them? How do you handle them?
Oh, guilt was a really big thing for me because I am coming from, sorry. So I'm originally from Poland, and Poland is very, very Catholic country. And guilt, it's one of the core beliefs that I believe every Catholic has. It's a guilt, basically. You are guilty of the fact that doing bad deeds, and that takes you away from God. So there was like loads of stories, even when I was going for the masses. You repeat all of the time, "Oh, I'm not worthy enough to be close to you, God," something like that. And that just stuck in my mind for years. And I was thinking, what sort of religion is that basically tells you that you're not worthy enough to have God in your heart? What sort of religion is it that tells you that you should feel guilty for doing that on that? That's not what God says. God says that wherever you do, He's still there for you. He still loves you. So the only job that you've got is just to forgive yourself. It's not up to Him to forgive you. It's up to you. So that was a little bit confusing for me. So yeah, at the moment, because I went through a huge transformation and guilt was a huge one for me, I don't see guilt anymore as punishment. I see it more as information. So let's say, for example, I don't know, the guilt is arising. I would just sit with myself and I would just ask myself, what part of me needs love? Because if the guilt is arising, it means that's the old conditioning. That's basically something that doesn't serve me anymore. It might be a childhood role that I've played. It might be the emotional responsibility that I feel for others, or it might be a wound that's even not mine. It was inherited from, for example, I don't know, my ancestors or somebody from family. And I think the best sentence of the thing that you can say to yourself when you feel guilt, you can say, well, I did the best I could with the level of consciousness I had.
Can you repeat?
Because
Can you repeat that, please? I did the best I could with that.
level of consciousness
Yeah.
I had at this time where something was happening, where the guilt arose. And
Thank
once
you.
your conscious once your consciousness start expanding and once you start growing spiritually, you basically, it's all about the choice. And as long as you make the choices aligned with your truth and with your heart, there shouldn't be really any guilt. And if you feel that guilt from the past, just say to yourself, well, I did the best I could with the level of consciousness I had at this time.
Well, thank you for sharing that. If
No problem.
spirituality was a song, which one would it be?
I think there is a little bit of spirituality in every single song. When you in connection with higher source, when I'm in that connection with higher power source, I feel like every single song there are words that popping up, and I feel like it's literally the source talking to me. I know it might sound a little bit woo, but the songs for me will be Sia, Breath Me, and Shallow, Lady Gaga. Um, yeah, it's symbolic. It's about like emerging from darkness. So yeah, I think them two. Yeah.
So we are at the final question. What do you believe happens when we die, when the body dies?
So I believe that consciousness continues. So our body dies, but our consciousness is still alive. And I believe that we return to the place of love, clarity, remembrance. Um, I don't believe anymore of what I've been told as a child through the Catholic religion that, we die and we go to heaven or we go to hell. If we were good, we go to heaven. If we were bad, we're going to hell. No, I believe that with other souls, it probably come back to the earth again. We go through the experiences, we go through the lessons, we heal together, we grow together. And yeah, I think this way of looking at things makes a little bit easier for somebody who's going through the hardship. Like I've just spoken to the lady whose child died, and she felt so much guilt. And sometimes just saying, oh, maybe it was the time, or maybe that was the lesson for you to integrate, to basically accept it and to not feel the guilt. That may be it. Maybe it was all written. Sometimes it just helps people. We are just human. So, yes, I believe that death is not the end. It's basically a return. We're coming back and we go through the lessons, different lessons that we are experiencing in this lifetime.
Yeah. Thank you, Magda. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. It's been thank you for nourishing the soul. Thank you for sharing
Thank you.
your reflections and your views and your perspective about spirituality. It's been a big, big pleasure, and
This
I hope you will be carry on being part of this ongoing journey.
Absolutely. I'm more than I would love to. And thank you so much for having me. And thank you also for nourishing my soul. And I love the deep conversation. And like I said, you look like a proper uh, podcast man.
Thank you.
You
Thank
were
you.
born for this.
Thank you. I don't know. As I said before, I just felt the call to do this, and it feels right. It feels is aligned. I feel I am following what the heart is telling me to do. Yeah.
Sometimes if we don't follow the calling, it's getting louder. So it's good. It's good to follow. It's good to
100%,
follow.
100%.
Yeah.
As I say, thank you again, and hope to
Thank
have
you.
you back for more questions.
I'm up for it. Thank you, Andrea. Thank you.